Another position that Browns fans have heard ad nauseum that people think they may look at 26, edge rusher. Let's take a listen to what Andrew Berry had to say about the edge rushers.
I think probably a little bit similar to the corner question here. Like I think they're good players, and I truly do believe that they're good players across really every position group in this draft. I think probably every head coach and general manager in the NFL will tell you that they'd love to have as many pass rushers as possible. We're no different in that regard.
Jeff, there you hear it. Give us a couple of polarizing names, and we've heard a lot of them as we've listened to these mock drafts.
And quite honestly, just about every edge rusher in this draft is somewhat polarizing because you can always find a reason why not to take any of these guys. One of the ones that I want to focus on is Penn State's Jason Oweh. Phenomenal athlete, tested off the charts, is one of those guys, he did his workout without his shirt on and nobody minded. He's a ridiculous physical specimen in the vein of Myles Garrett, that type of special athlete. But he didn't get a single sack in college, and that's really a tough sell. Yes, I know that Penn State wasn't the greatest defense in the world, and they don't always have the greatest coaching there. But my goodness, get one. People will stumble into a sack here and there, and it didn't happen for him at all. He's fairly one-dimensional too. He doesn't play the run all that well. He doesn't move backwards well at all for the athleticism that he brings. So again, a very tantalizing athlete and long-term prospect, which might tie into what Andrew Berry was talking about earlier. But there's no results there at all, and that makes it a very tough sell at 26.
Yeah, that's a guy that ran like a 4.35 40, so at 272 pounds. So yeah, like you said, how do you not trip over a guy and get a sack?
Yeah, Joe Jackson stumbled into a fumble recovery sack last year. You think he would have? You think a guy like that would have come up with at least a half a sack? But no, it didn't happen. So again, it's not all his fault. He didn't get the greatest scheme or coaching help at Penn State. No offense to Nittany Lion fans out there, but I think you all know you can do a little bit better than what you had last year. And it's tough, man, because there is a lot of talent. By all accounts, he's a guy who wants it, who will go after it, and is working on it. But you got to see some results sooner or later, and the sooner it hasn't happened.
So another one is Gregory Rousseau, one of the guys from Miami of Florida. Tell us about him.
19 and a half sacks and plays behind the line of scrimmage in 2019. Phenomenal production. Sort of the opposite of Oweh, really, in that he doesn't necessarily have the greatest athleticism. He definitely checks the boxes that you would look for at the position, but he's not an athletic freak. But he had production off the charts at Miami. The problem is he only did it for 1 year. He's only played, I think he's played 14 college football games. He opted out of last season. This is a guy who in his freshman season broke his ankle after 17 plays. So we have a very, very limited scope of work to look at. There's not a lot of game film. He didn't go up against a lot of good pass protecting offensive lines when he was in college. I'll say that his production was somewhat artificially inflated because he wound up as an edge rusher attacking the inside a lot. He would cross the face of the tackle to attack the guard, which is generally the weaker position, especially in college football, and had a lot of success doing that. And the guards just simply weren't athletic enough to keep up with him. In the NFL, you're going to see better offensive lines. I think we've seen that in Cleveland, the ability to have the transition from tackle to guard and passing the pass rusher along. They do that a lot better at the NFL level than they do at the college level. So there are reasons to worry about that his production was a little fluky. But again, the guy finishes what he starts, and that's a very impressive trait. Again, you're looking at two prospects that are on the opposite end of the spectrum in terms of production. And I don't think Rousseau is necessarily going to be in consideration at 26. The impression that I've gotten from most people is that he's more of a second-round pick, in part because people are scared of it and the fact that they didn't see him last year. But he's certainly a guy that if Andrew Berry is looking long-term, if they feel like they can modify what he's got and get that sort of consistent production out of him, he's absolutely got to be on their board.